So today I want to talk about something that seems to be like this paradox in chicken and egg, which is how do you gain influence and trust when you don't have it? Or now as big brands are developing less and less trust, how do they get it? And how do you do it without a budget? Or even if you do have a budget, no one has an unlimited budget. And oftentimes, the more money you throw at something, the more disingenuous it can seem. So as I've come back to YouTube and I think about my early days, there's something that really comes to mind about why I became so obsessive with studying marketing and influence in the way that I do. And I think I define it very differently than a pay to play, which is the debate that often I've had with a lot of colleagues, which is somebody with a following, you pay them for their time to place a product, a service, or idea, and that's influencer marketing. And can it be influential? Absolutely. But in and of itself, I don't believe that's influencer marketing. That's modern day advertising. And please debate me on this, but I want to share a story that crystallized this for me. And it exemplifies a lot of things that if you have a struggle bus, like how to get over it. You don't have a budget, how to get over it. You don't have respect, how to get over it. It was when I started doing YouTube in my little apartment in New York City. And not just did YouTube have no respect, it was like literally a joke, like a punchline to say you were doing YouTube. I was coming from leaving a consulting job in a big corporation to do YouTube was like, has she lost her marbles? This is embarrassing for her. And so I knew I needed to gain respect and trust. But how? I didn't have a budget and no one respected YouTube. So I thought if I just aligned with somebody that did, or someone, like it doesn't have to be a person, it could be a brand, that there would be a halo effect, right? It's like saying Google invested in you. All of a sudden people go, oh, you must be more legitimate. And so for me, New York City was always my dream, my whole life. And the Plaza Hotel seemed so untouchable. It was like the palace of Manhattan. And I thought, man, if I could align with the Plaza Hotel, then everyone will take me seriously. I can open the magical doors to any luxury brand and place in New York City. And now that seems like quite a stretch, right? And the reason I say this is because sometimes we focus too much on having to be aligned in this space and that space and whatever. I was doing workout videos on YouTube in my apartment, and there was the iconic Plaza Hotel in the middle of Manhattan. Couldn't seem more disconnected, right? What I could have done was, technically, if I had money, I could have asked to do an event there. They could have told me what check I needed to write, and I could have done it there. I actually couldn't because I had no money. But also, even if I did that, what I realize now is that it would have had the same effect because they would have promoted it. There would be no incentive for them to promote it. They would be like, take the paycheck, deliver her event, great. So rather, I kind of got obsessive with doing some deep research on the plaza, its history, and knew that they had just undergone one of the biggest renovations in history of their ballroom. And they wanted to be known as the most iconic place in the world to get married. Knowing this, rather than asking them, I reached out to them with an opportunity, presented them this proposal that I have this audience on my YouTube channel that is exactly the audience they need to reach. Young women in their mid to late 20s and early 30s that are at the age where they're starting to think about weddings or getting married, mostly concentrated in big cities. And especially because I happen to live and go to school in New York City, Greenwich Village, I had a great little posse following there. That was the audience they needed to reach. And they had a problem. They seemed untouchable, like Buckingham Palace. Didn't even know that you could even just go walk into the Plaza Hotel, let alone get married there. My proposal was to showcase an immersive experience for them at the Plaza. I would invite all of New York's most eligible brides and girls that age and the press, and we would host a workout in their ballroom, lighting, music, sound, and then showcase all of the things the Plaza has to offer. Healthy cocktails by their mixologist, nutritious appetizers from their chef, spa cuddly, mini facials at the event, hair consultations. They had everything in-house, and it was magnificent. Even lighting that ballroom for like an hour was well into the five figures. I couldn't have thrown an event like this, let alone had one thrown for me, but it wasn't just for me because it really was mutually beneficial. They got access and showcase to an audience that otherwise thought they were completely intimidating or not even relevant because they were old and untouchable. And we humanized the brand. We got people in the door. And for me, they lent me their credibility and elevated my production experience. And that became what is known as bridal boot camp I remember at the time, even the next day, we got so much press. I think we got a couple different morning shows, magazine coverage, online publications. It was like a wildfire. This ballroom bridal boot camp at the Plaza Hotel for New York's most elite girls. But it was all just positioning and marketing. The reason I go back to that is because a lot of partnerships, people go, oh, I can't afford, or I'm not there yet. There's always a way if you can figure out what's their motive, what would help them, and really deliver on that and make it a mutually beneficial experience. Because honestly, the best partnerships often don't involve the transfer of a single dime. When it's mutually beneficial, it's a win-win for both parties. So reframing your thoughts on what is it? Like, could a content creator, why does everyone have to be a content creator? Find a content creator, use your budget, sponsor their content, part of the long-term, like a long-term relationship. So it gets me thinking, and I'd love to know, what do you think about that? Because I know there's a debate going on with especially a certain few colleagues that I really respect that believe that influencer marketing is paying somebody with a following to post. I am debating that that is not what influencer marketing is. That is modern day advertising, with the channel being whatever person or brand has a following, real, fake, engaged or not. But it can be influential. I'd love to hear if you have favorite brand collaborations or partnership ideas in the comments below, and I will see you guys back here next week.